copy I left you guys. Everybody's got a copy with it.
I have a copy of the annex part.
Yes.
I guess you already have that. You already have it.
You say you have one or don't have one, Chris?
I have, everybody has one.
Okay.
I just left one of you. Do you have
I thought you said you didn't have one, so no problem.
Okay, hi, good evening. My name is Caroline Brinster. I'm an attorney at Dutton and Greenbaum, so I came up from Jasper tonight. I just want to know, before I get started on this presentation, that actually my colleague, Mr. Dickinson, was supposed to present tonight, and so last minute, I'm stepping in. He had a family emergency, so I will do my best to answer any questions that you may have. And if I don't have the answer right away, I believe that this is a three-step process in terms of 3 meetings, so there should be this on the agenda. It should carry over to the next meeting, and more information will be presented at that time. There is not going to be a vote on this matter or anything like that tonight. This is simply just a first reading of the ordinance. So to clarify, I represent the WL Properties of Lagodi LLC, and we're working in conjunction with the City of Lagodi as well as Midwestern Engineers. Basically, we are petitioning council members to annex certain property located in Martin County. And so, based on the petition, there is a legal description as well as a map, and a blown up map so that you can see basically the geography. The area in yellow would be the area that would be annexed. I could also pass it out if you want to see copies.
May I say? You go up to Country Court, there's 3 streets on Country Court, they're all dead end. It's the 30 acres to the north of that.
Yes, but is my piece of property included in that?
According to that map, I don't think so, but please look at it. That's all I can answer right now.
Yeah.
That map really didn't tell me a whole lot.
The answer, again, Georgia, per our conversation before, is the answer is no. It does not. This is a voluntary annexation, and it only involves one property owner. So since you're not here, you haven't signed anything, and this property is all on one parcel, it does not involve your property.
You're absolutely positive.
What's the annex? What are they doing with the property?
Yeah, so good question. I just got to get to that. So, so basically, my client, WL Properties of Lagodi LLC, they're a developer. What they would like to do is convert, once this is annexed and made part of the city, they'd like to convert it into single residential, so it'd be R1. And so essentially, the goal, I believe, is for them to subdivide that land into separate plots to sell them off kind of at an ad hoc basis. It wouldn't be, let's go in and build everything right now. It would be, it would occur organically, naturally for people to buy off and build custom homes. So essentially in that area, where we were mentioning kind of how the road's kind of dead end here, it would be kind of like an extension of that subdivision. And so right now, like, I don't have a lot of information about the fiscal plan, or if anyone has questions about, topography or drainage or utilities. So that is all being worked out right now, for us to present a more in-depth plan with those details and those other kind of concerns, if anyone has those, based on surveying, and information and data collection with the Midwestern Engineers. And the city would also be helping work through that as well, so that we can present more information at the next meeting, next month about that. I was
It's
also.
the possibility of 40 homes.
Yeah, I heard 30
Total
to 40.
possibility, yeah.
Yeah, and I think when I was briefing earlier with my colleague this morning, if you notice, it goes right next to 231 here. I was told that there wouldn't be actually a road kind of like connecting it to 231. You would essentially have to drive through the rest of the subdivision to make your way out again. I believe over here on Williams Street. So there wouldn't be an ingress or egress access right there off 231. I don't know if anyone else has any questions, but essentially I just want to conduct our first reading here. I'm not going to read through the whole ordinance, but I will read just the caption. And if anyone wants a copy of this, I'd be more than happy to provide you with my copy. So this is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lagodi, Indiana, annexing territory to the city of Lagodi, Indiana, placing the same within the corporate boundaries thereof, and making the same a part of the city of Lagodi. This is a country court super voluntary annexation. And so from what I understand, the two parcels to be annexed are owned by the same owner, and they're voluntarily willing to let this property be annexed.
I got a question.
Yes, of course.
Who's gonna be putting in the road and the sewer and the water?
Mayor Hardy?
We will be, first off, we have received a grant already for our conversation from the Community Foundation for $100,000. I also am gonna be pursuing another grant for $400,000. Doesn't mean we'll get it, but I am pursuing another grant for $400,000. We will be paying therefore for part of it, and they will be paying for part of it.
So how much of a part are we going to be paying?
Again, as
To
she
put
mentioned,
in.
again, as she mentioned before, all of those details are being worked out. We don't have all of the current cost. We know what they paid for the property, we know the investment, the initial investment that they've made into the property, but we don't know all of the cost.
Well, I know before when Country Court and Belgrade and all these places were put in, the property owner put the road base and the sewage and water in, and then the city annexed it and maintains it. But the city was not required or did not help pay to put those things in. Am I correct in that assumption, Bo? That was
I
all
would-
annexed after it was,
Right, I would say you're 100% correct. My
I think it
response
was
to that would be,
The annexation was all a part of their development. The property owners, Crane family, did have the utilities installed. I'm not 100% sure about the road itself.
I was thinking the road base, I'm not sure about the
base
road,
was
but the
there.
road
I'm
base was
positive that
there.
The developer developed the property.
I will write your question down so that in the next meeting, we can maybe address that, and hopefully it'll be a little bit more clear in that fiscal plan that we would present to you.
I would say you're probably correct, Georgette. In that era, that was how things worked. Unfortunately, in today's era, to attract investors, it's very hard. And when
Thanks,
and in
Mo.
that era, they probably started out, as you know, I don't know what they paid for that ground, the Crane family in that era. But when you're starting out with almost $1 million investment before you even build the first house, it's a different ballgame in today's world, unfortunately. Costs are just astronomical, and to put all of that burden on the developer is not probably realistic, because it probably wouldn't happen.
Will the new power line have any effect on where they, went through and took for Egypt?
That I can't answer.
Well, that there,
Yeah.
looks like the ones on the northwest side. How close that power line is to that.
It should not, they went all the way, well,
It went all the way.
it depends,
Within the county line
it
right
depends
there.
on, I don't have.
It's county line, but the right of way comes over into Martin County, 50 feet, yeah.
It would be right on the west edge,
Yeah.
the very edge, because it made a difference to Dobson's house up there. They had to redo some of that.
Yeah.
But again, it is on the, well, obviously they own land in Martin County, so it is in Martin County side. Georgia, to clarify your question, are you asking which comes first, the roads or the annexation? Or if we
Oh, I
annex
know
it-
what we're doing right now, they're wanting to annex it before they ever even start
Yes.
anything.
But then does that put responsibility on us to do the roads? Is that what you're asking?
No, I know it does.
Not necessarily, no. Not necessarily.
Yes. Not all of it, but part of it.
So if they would hypothetically, they've already, I mean, it's already been stated what they're going to do with the property, but tomorrow if they would change their mind and said they were gonna do agriculture, then we're not on the hook to do anything. But that's not the intent of this project.
Yes, I understand that.
I think the key word there is putting us on the hook. In Belgrade and everyone else, we accept the roads to maintain them. I won't say annex, maybe that's not the right word, but we accept the roads to maintain them after they have been put up to a certain standard.
Correct.
We don't
The county
maintain the
does.
roads in
County-
Belgrade.
No, I
but-
know that,
Yeah,
county does.
yeah.
So, is that, I'm with Georgette, which comes first, but that will be explained in the next meeting?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't answer your question.
Okay, that's fine.
Is there
We're
any
not
other-
voting on anything, and
Yeah,
that's,
I'm hoping you guys will take it under advisement
Okay.
and that my colleague, Mr. Dickinson, will be back at the next meeting and one forthcoming after that. I believe the next meeting is Monday, December 12th. So at that time, we would have a fiscal plan for you to review.
okay.
Are there any other questions?
I got one for Noel. You mentioned a couple grants
Mhm.
around this. What exactly are those grants for?
Infrastructure only.
Infrastructure only?
So we've received one already from the foundation. That was announced about 6 months ago, maybe, when this first was talked about, and we received it immediately. And it has to be spent for infrastructure or related cost to infrastructure. And the grant that I'm hoping that we receive, that I'm working on right now, we have a good chance of getting, but, who knows? And I don't know that we'll get 400,000 either. That's the number I've that we're shooting for based on what other communities. It's got to be used for infrastructure.
And infrastructure wouldn't include filling potholes? I mean, where
It
do we
has to
get that
be-
money?
So to answer your question, it has to be for this development.
I see, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right, the
That
100,000, we
clarifies.
would've, I understand, we're on the same page. We would've never received it if this project
If
was
this
not on the
pro-
table.
right.
It would've never been on the table.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And I think everybody here understands, Terry's saying, yeah, I mean, her husband works at Crane, and I hear this all the time. And we discussed this already, Georgette. What I hear is, there's 2,000 more jobs, I'm using this hypothetical, coming into Crane. And where are you gonna house them at, Noel? I mean, that's the thing, and it's true. And Sammy, you deal, right? That housing is the number one thing. If you don't have it, everything else is kinda irrelevant, so.
Yeah,
Thank
but you say we don't have it. There are certain places we do have. There's been a lot across from my house, 2 lots, matter of fact, that have been for sale for 3 or 4 years or more, that just recently sold. There's a brand new home down the street that was just built, and I believe they want $249,000 for it. Well, it would have to be somebody coming into Crane to be able to afford a home like that. There's also 2 bigger homes on North Line Street that are for sale, that are 5 bedrooms. Wow. The houses are there.
I can't speak to today, but last year I could say that I sold my personal residence in 23 hours. So I can't tell you today, but I mean, I can tell you that from the past, and interest rates have went up.
Yeah, that's
They
what I
have,
was
they
just-
do have, but, I mean, I don't know, now you've got me, after the meeting, I'm gonna have to look on Realtor.com and see how many homes we have for sales, so.
Well, I mean, that's just on North Line Street.
Wow. I had heard a number of 30 at one point. There was 30 at any given time. But you're talking 200 to 500 jobs coming in the next 2 years, so 30 isn't very much to.
Jason, you got your house for sale, how many have looked at it already?
It's not ready yet, so no.
Oh, okay, bad example. But you've had several inquire, so. Okay,
Great, well,
Thank you.
everyone for your time and your